Attention, attention! Hello, my dear viewer. Welcome to 5 Times Travel, where you and I explore the world in terms of travel and countries, and also discuss about the history, the raw, unfiltered truths of our world. Before we dive into today's topic, let me offer a strong disclaimer. If you are easily triggered by contentious issues, if you cling tightly to a particular narrative without room for reflection, I encourage you to click away now. This video is unapologetically personal and deeply controversial. For those who remain, brace yourself for a conversation that might make you uncomfortable, angry, or inspired. This is about Palestine, its pain, its resilience, and why it will ultimately win this war. Let's get one thing straight. Palestine was a nation long before the State of Israel was declared in 1948. This isn't opinion, it's historical fact. Palestine wasn't just a geographical region, but a thriving homeland where Arabs, Muslims, Christians, and Jews lived side by side in relative harmony. Communities flourished in ancient cities like Jerusalem and Hebron, preserving a rich culture rooted in resilience and unity. Palestine had a national identity and a people deeply connected to their land. The establishment of Israel wasn't organic. It was a deliberate campaign of colonization and displacement. The seeds of this plan were sown in the Balfour Declaration of 1917, when Britain, with no authority, promised a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine, ignoring the indigenous population. This set the stage for decades of conflict. By 1948, the creation of Israel symbolized hope for Jews recovering from the horrors of the Holocaust. Yet for Palestinians, it marked the Nakba, or the catastrophe. Over 750,000 Palestinians were forcibly expelled from their homes, their villages destroyed, and their heritage erased. This displacement wasn't incidental, it was systematic. Schools, mosques, and markets were demolished, history books rewritten to deny Palestinian identity, and families torn apart, forced into exile. The renowned historian Ilan Pappé labeled this as a campaign of ethnic cleansing to establish a Jewish majority state on Arab land. Could one tragedy, as horrific as the Holocaust, justify creating another? For Palestinians, the trauma of 1948 remains a living wound. Imagine waking up to find your home demolished, your family displaced, and your existence treated as an inconvenience. Would you remain silent as the world cheers on your oppressor and labels you a threat for simply wanting to exist? Even after the Nakba, the assault on Palestinian sovereignty continued. From illegal settlements in the West Bank to the devastating siege of Gaza, Israel's actions consistently violate international law. The aim has always been clear: to erase Palestinians. Yet, against all odds, Palestinians endure. Their survival is an act of defiance, a refusal to be written out of history. This is not a conflict between equals. It's a colonial project where one side wields overwhelming power and the other fights simply to exist. The Nakba wasn't the end of Palestine. It was the start of a resistance that continues today, a struggle for justice, survival, and the right to exist on their land. Let's not mince words. Israel invaded Palestine. They call it a conflict. I call it colonization. For decades, Israel has expanded its borders through military force, illegal settlements, and apartheid-like policies, all while the world watches in complicit silence. The West Bank and Gaza, once vibrant lands of culture and hope, are now reduced to open-air prisons, suffocated under Israeli control. Every inch of these territories is surveilled, every movement monitored. Israel doesn't just control Palestine's borders, they control its airspace, its water, its economy, and its future. Do you know what it's like to live under constant surveillance, to have your every step scrutinized by soldiers with guns? Imagine walking through checkpoints every single day, where humiliation is the norm. Mothers are forced to wait for hours, their babies crying in their arms just to get basic medical care. Imagine needing permission to visit your dying relative, knowing you might not get it in time or at all. But it doesn't end there. The occupation is more than a physical invasion. It's a psychological one. It's the daily trauma of knowing your home can be destroyed at any moment. It's the terror of hearing the roar of fighter jets overhead, knowing bombs could drop without warning. And those bombs bombs, they don't just target militants, as Israel claims, they destroy entire families. Let's talk about Gaza. It's not a war zone, it's a death trap. Over 2 million people are crammed into a strip of land barely 25 miles long, blockaded on all sides. Israel drops bombs on densely populated neighborhoods, schools, hospitals, and even United Nations-designated refugee camps. They claim to target terrorists, but what do you call it when entire families are wiped out in an instant? When children are pulled from the rubble, their lifeless bodies a testament to a world that has failed them? Israel's drones don't discriminate. They rain death on anyone and everyone. In one night, hundreds can die, their screams drowned out by the silence of international leaders. Hospitals are bombed, doctors killed, ambulances targeted. In one infamous case, the Al-Shifa hospital, one of the last sanctuaries for the wounded, was bombed to dust. Pregnant women died in labor. Infants in incubators suffocated when the power went out. These aren't accidents. They are calculated acts of terror. And the mosques, places of worship where people gather to pray, are bombed and burned. Holy sites, centuries old, are desecrated in broad daylight. But it doesn't stop at property. Underage Palestinian girls have been raped by soldiers, their innocence stolen in acts of unspeakable cruelty. Videos have surfaced of executions carried out in cold blood, with young boys and girls shot point blank for the crime of being Palestinian. Their killers smile for the camera, knowing there will be no consequences. Have you ever seen the footage of a mother clutching her lifeless child, her screams piercing through the smoke-filled air? Have you watched as a father digs through rubble with his bare hands, praying to find his family alive? This is the reality in Palestine, day after day, year after year. And what does the world do? It condemns violence on both sides, as if there's any parity between a colonizer armed to the teeth and an oppressed people armed with rocks. Israel's actions are more than war crimes. They are crimes against humanity. They strip Palestinians of not just their land, but their dignity, their futures, their lives. And yet, despite all of this, despite the bombs, the drones, the bullets, Palestinians endure. They hold their children tighter. They rebuild their homes, and they resist. This isn't a conflict. This is a genocide unfolding in real time, live-streamed for the world to see, yet ignored by those with the power to stop it. It's not just about killing bodies. It's about erasing an entire people. But here's the truth that terrifies Israel the most. You cannot kill a spirit rooted in justice. You cannot bomb away a people's history, their hope, or their right to exist. The resilience of the Palestinian people is unmatched. Every day they survive is a victory against an oppressor that wants nothing more than to see them disappear. Every smile, every prayer, every act of defiance is a reminder that they will not go quietly. And you, the viewer, must decide. Will you watch in silence, or will you speak out against this injustice? Why Palestine will win. You might ask, how can a nation under siege, with no army to match Israel's might, possibly win? The answer lies in history, morality, and the unbreakable spirit of its people. The power of truth. Israel has a powerful propaganda machine, no doubt. It paints itself as a victim in the global media, while portraying Palestinians as aggressors. But the world is waking up. Social media has given ordinary Palestinians a voice. Videos of bombings, children crying, and families being torn apart are impossible to ignore. The narrative is shifting, and more people are questioning the so-called only democracy in the Middle East. Remember apartheid South Africa? It took decades, but the truth prevailed. The international community eventually recognized the moral bankruptcy of the regime. The same will happen with Israel. The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice. The unity of resistance. Palestinians have shown incredible unity in their resistance. This isn't just a fight for land, it's a fight for dignity, for the right to exist. From the mothers shielding their children in Gaza, to the young men standing up to soldiers with nothing but stones, their courage is unparalleled. The world respects those who fight for what is right, even against insurmountable odds. Global solidarity. More countries, activists, and even Jewish organizations are standing with Palestine. Movements like BDS, boycott, divestment, sanctions, are gaining momentum, targeting Israel's economy and isolating it diplomatically. Change doesn't happen overnight, but the seeds are being sown. The cost of oppression. No empire lasts forever. Oppression carries a cost, economically, socially, and morally. Israel's apartheid system is unsustainable. The longer they suppress Palestinians, the more they alienate themselves from the world. Even within Israel, dissent is growing. Younger generations are questioning the ethics of a system that requires constant war to survive. Let's not pretend Israel wants peace. Their actions speak louder than words. The so-called peace processes have been nothing more than stalling tactics while more Palestinian land is taken. Every time a ceasefire is declared, Israel breaks it with more settlements, more walls, and more checkpoints. Peace requires justice, and justice means recognizing Palestinian rights. Until Israel acknowledges this, any talk of peace is a facade. Ask yourself, who benefits from this perpetual conflict? Certainly not the Palestinians, and certainly not the ordinary Israelis who live in fear of retaliation. The beneficiaries are the politicians and corporations profiting from the war machine. And now, to the heart of the story, the people of Palestine. They have been bombed, displaced, and demonized. Yet they rise. They hold on to their olive trees, their keys to homes they can no longer enter, and their dreams of freedom. The Palestinian spirit is unbreakable. Children who grow up amidst rubble still smile. Artists in Gaza create beauty out of despair. Teachers in refugee camps educate the next generation, instilling hope where it seems there is none. This resilience is why Palestine will win. You cannot kill a spirit so deeply rooted in justice and survival. Palestine's fight is not just about land. It's about humanity's fight against injustice. It's about the universal truth that oppression will never have the final word. To the people of Palestine, the world sees you, and your fight is not in vain. Your courage inspires millions, and your story will be one of victory. To you, my viewer, I leave you with this. Do not be a passive observer. Learn, question, and stand for what is right. History will judge us not by our words, but by our actions. Will you stand on the side of justice, or will you turn away? Palestine will win, not because it has weapons, but because it has truth, resilience, and the unshakable belief in its right to exist. Let me know your thoughts below in the comment section. Was this too much for you, or did it strike a nerve? Let's have a conversation. But remember, truth is not afraid of dialogue. Stay bold, stay questioning, and above all, stay human and keep exploring.